Okay, I think we'll go ahead and get started, everyone.
Hi, everyone.
Hello. Welcome,
Hi.
everyone. Hello, Elizabeth and Sam. It's so great to see you here today. Welcome to our NEC family story time.
What's that? Hey, it's Tracy.
Hi.
Yeah. Say
Hello.
Hi, Sam.
Hi. I'm Tracy Evans-Lucelli with the New England Consortium, and with us today is Brenda Allaire. Brenda, give a wave.
Hi, Brenda.
There you go. And Damari Lizardo. Hi, Damari. In today's session, we're going to be covering the topic of experience stories. And we're so excited to have with us today Helene Gallagher, who is working with NEC. And Helene is in Vermont, and not currently, but she's from Vermont and is going to be doing work for us in Vermont. And Helene has worked in the field of education for more than 25 years with a lot of classrooms and kiddos, just like you, Sam. We're so excited that you're here. And with that, I'm going to let Helene take it away and show you folks a lot of wonderful ideas that you can do at home.
Thank you, Tracy. Again, this is Helene. Hi, nice to meet you.
Hi.
I'm excited to talk to you today about experience stories. Hi, Sam. And let's start with what they are. I know you received hopefully a binder that looks like this that Damari was kind enough to send out to folks. There we go, match. With some information about experience stories, but let's start with what they are. So we have the big picture. And experience stories are homemade books that you can create about personal experiences you've had, or perhaps your favorite interests, things that light you up, things that you like and enjoy. And the great thing is you get to be the author, the one who writes the story. And you can even be the illustrator. So when you're making an experience story, you can do whatever works best for you. So you can use pictures, maybe photographs, you might have some objects, you might have some artifacts, which are things that you've picked up along the way as you're going through your experiences. We'll talk a little bit more about that. So it's really exciting and personalized for you. And why are these experience stories important? Why do we want to do this work? So they're a great conversation starter. Just like when you have a photo album or a scrapbook, something like that, that you want to share with somebody, an experience story can be a great way to start a conversation about something you've done or something you like doing. And maybe you share it with your grandma, or maybe you share it with your teacher or a friend. And maybe they make a connection with you. You're writing about how you like dogs and all the things that you enjoy about dogs. And they might say, hey, I like dogs too. They're my favorite, right? Or maybe they ask you some questions about where you've been. So it can be a great way to start a conversation. So another important thing about experience stories is that they allow us to develop some emergent or early literacy skills. So maybe your student is just beginning to experience books in general, and maybe they are just touching the pages. Maybe they're even tasting the book to pages. That's all great. They are on the path to literacy. Maybe you're up to looking at the words and learning, oh, these are words versus the pictures or the objects. Maybe you're feeling Braille and getting to know that as print. Maybe you're learning to hold a book, and where's the top, where's the bottom, how do I turn a page? All of that is part of the experience story experience. And then experience stories also allow us to promote recall of events. So maybe we've taken a hike, we've collected some things along the way, we've collected memories, we've taken photographs, and then we want to kind of catalog that in our book. When we're doing that through the act of making the book, that's helping us remember. When we're saying, remember, you and I went on the hike and we picked up that stick and it was super pointy and you found that funny. And then we found that leaf and we crunched it and it made that sound, those sorts of things. So you're having memories, you're talking about those, recording them in this story, and then you get to relive them again and again. And with the recall, when we're rereading the story, we can start to work on anticipation. Because if I've read the same book, we all have our favorite books, right? That we read again and again, because they're just so good. And when we get to know them, we start to maybe memorize pieces of them and anticipate, oh yeah, I think I remember the part that's going to come next. So that's all really important work too. And so potential topics, I just wanted to talk about what we can do in terms of experience stories, and really sky's the limit. So again, super exciting, because as the author, you get to decide, what do you want to write about? What lights you up? So you can talk about a community outing you've done. Maybe you've gone to the post office and had an experience with that. Maybe you've had a special activity at school. Perhaps you did a science experiment that was really fun and exciting, and you want to write about that. Maybe you've gone to the doctor or dentist, maybe not so exciting, but it can be a way for us to write about that experience too. Or you're getting ready to go to a doctor appointment. We can write a story about that, perhaps, to help somebody understand what they might expect, and again, anticipate what is going to come. You can also write about your weekend, which can be a good connection from home to school. So maybe you did something over the weekend that you'd like to share in your morning meeting when you get together with your group of peers, your friends, and you want to be able to have something to refer to. So something tangible you can show them to talk about what you did over the weekend. And then, as Damari included in our binder, you can also, you see this, you can write all about me, which we thought would be a nice connection from home to school also, because oftentimes in the beginning of the year, we're talking about, in school, we're talking about getting to know each other. What are all your favorites? Maybe you have a picture of you, or you draw a picture of you. And this was kind of like a nice template, we thought. Apologies if it's shiny, but you should have it in front of you, where you can talk about your name, your birthday, what things you like to do for fun. You can use this as a kind of a storyboard or kind of planning sheet, if you will. So get your ideas written down here, and then you could flesh this out and use it to create a larger book, right? So maybe you take these ideas and each one becomes a page in a book, where one's about your name and there's a picture of you. You have your birthday, you have the things that you like to do, and you might have objects or pictures or drawings that relate to those things. So that's an activity you can do on your own to get ready for the new school year, perhaps. But today, what I wanted to talk about is, because it's summer, I wanted to talk about our summer vacations, right? So this could be a small moment type story where you're just talking about one thing that you did. Maybe you went to the beach and you collected shells and you put your feet in the water. You had an ice cream, and so you have the popsicle stick. You can talk about that. Or it can be about your entire summer and just kind of highlighting things that you did on different days, right? So again, there's no correct way to do it or incorrect way to do it. It should be about the experiences and the parts of the experiences that were most important to you. What did you find important and exciting about the things that you've done? So I'm going to stop before I move on to modeling how to create one of these. Does anyone have any questions so far, or comments, or anything you'd like to add?
Jamie, want to say anything? What did you do this summer?
Yeah, that was my good anticipation. That's what I was going to ask next.
You go swimming
There's
in the
something
lake?
exciting you did, Sam?
Yeah, can you tell Helene?
Helene.
Wow, did you say my name so nicely? Most people do not get my name correct. And wow, thank you for that.
What did you see? Did you go swimming?
The Lenny.
Wow, that's exciting.
Did
Did you
pick
swim in a pool, in a lake, in the river? Where?
Where'd you go? Did you go to Maine?
Name.
Oh my goodness. I know Tracy likes to go to Maine.
Did you go in Maine? Where? Where do you remember? Do you remember the town?
Him.
Town, what town? What town?
Tell.
Did you go to York?
She's a need in the way.
Tell Helene. Did you go to York?
You went to York? Is that it?
Yeah. Yeah, you.
Ah, very exciting. That sounds like fun.
Did you pick up sea glass?
She's like
Oh
Like
my
glasses?
goodness.
Sam happy?
happy.
So that sounds like a story right there. You just outlined one, right? Yeah, very nice. Okay, so that's perfect. Those are all things that you can write about.
Sarah had a question too,
Oh,
Helene.
absolutely. Go ahead, Sarah. Hi, I'm Helene. How are you?
Hi, Helene. Nice to meet you. I'm Sarah, and this is Giancarlo.
Hi, thanks
And
for joining us.
we're about to take a week-long beach trip, so this is good preparation. But I wanted to ask, maybe I'm getting ahead of us, but I wanted to ask about creating the narrative because I've attempted something like experience books before, but I felt like I wrote too much that was more for me. And like my daughter is, I think you could say pre-literate. Like I think we're really trying to figure out how to have her like, you know, how to what literacy is going to look like for her. So yeah, I think that's kind of where I get stuck, like what kind of description or narrative am I putting to those pictures? And maybe
Yeah.
it doesn't matter, but yeah.
No, I think that's a really valid question. And thank you for being so thoughtful about it. I think, you know, a couple of things with the words. So if we're talking about an emergent reader, you could really go two ways. So you actually can't go wrong by having a lot of text if the text is going to be the thing that cues the adult as to what to say, right? So it can be there for your child as much as for the person who's interacting with the child that's going to go through this book. Maybe your child's more focused on the object, or I'm not sure if your child uses more objects or pictures or what have you, but whatever's here, right, they'll demonstrate in a moment. And then you'll have the words down below, but the words can be, having them there allows for consistent message and interaction across times that you read the book. So it adds to that recall piece of knowing kind of what to expect, and we're going over it in the same way. So that's one aspect. Another could be, you could go with a repeated line. So if you want to talk about things she likes, you know, I like whatever it is about the trip, right? I like shells. I like water. Whatever the things were that appealed to her the most, that would be another way to go. Do other folks, I don't know, Tracy, feel free to join in here, or Brenda, if you have other comments about that.
This is Tracy speaking. I think that's such a great question, Sarah, and so many parents and teachers get stuck here. And I think it's sort of, if you can always kind of step back and observe and think about how she's experiencing it. So it could be only the touch or the feel of, say, it's the towel or something that always goes with her on the ride to the beach, or a particular pail that she always brings with her, either, you know, the handle of it, if you can take it off and put it in an experience book. So I think always kind of thinking or reflecting on how she's experiencing that particular activity, you can't really go wrong with. The hard part is finding that representational piece. So again, getting back to what Helene said, it could be text for some kids, for other kids, it's a photograph, for other kids, it's part of an object, and then for other kids, it's the entire object. So, for example, we once had a situation where a teacher was she assumed that giving a child a picture of the school bus would help him understand, you know, we're talking about going to school and coming back from school, where it really wasn't meaningful for that child. What was meaningful was a piece of the actual seatbelt. So the teacher found a piece of an old seatbelt, and that went in his book for his home to school book. So it's the possibilities are endless. They really are. But I think if you can really think about coming from the child's point of view and what's the most meaningful and salient for them, I think that kind of helps make some of those decisions a little bit easier.
Thank you, Tracy. Does that help, Sarah? Clarify?
Yeah, no, that's definitely very helpful. It occurred to me also that the other challenge is that she's using mostly ASL, and she's one of those kids where, you know, she seems to have a lot of receptive communication, and then the expressive is more limited, so you don't know quite how much receptive, and you're constantly being kind of surprised. And so it's kind of like, if I write a story, I sort of need to see how somebody signs it fluently and record them, and then learn how to sign it the same as them, so she has that consistency in both ASL and the spoken English reading of the experience book. But I think I can do it.
Yeah.
That goal.
And I really appreciate your thinking about the different modes of communication, because, you know, some of our kiddos are, their receptive communication is different from their expressive, right? And which is kind of what you just referred to. So that is so important to think about. How are they receiving the information, and then how are they interacting with you about what's in front of them? So that's really, I think that's really thoughtful. So what I was going to do today, if you'll humor me, is just kind of, I took things from around my house about my summer, and I was just going to do a quick model of how I might make a book about my summer vacation. And so first thing I have is a picture of myself with my cousins. Put it right up there. Okay. And I was going to put that right in my binder, just like you have. Open it up. And what I wanted to show you too is that it doesn't have to be super fancy, right? It's okay to have it be quick, especially if you're going to be getting in a habit of making lots of these or writing about every weekend. Not everyone has to be a masterpiece, right?
You tell her you signed to her nice.
Not.
Can you do it?
Aw. So
Yeah.
I'm writing here, I went to see my cousins. Okay, this is a road trip that I took in my car. Okay. So I went to see my cousins, just hand wrote it really quickly. Going to put it right in this first page here. Okay. And so when I'm writing a story, I'm thinking about who, what, where, those key ingredients, right, to a story that you might want to include. Okay, so when I went on this trip, oh my goodness, it was a long car ride. So that's something that stayed with me. I was getting tired of staying in my chair. It's hard. Helene doesn't like to sit for long periods of time, and this trip took 7 hours. So for this one, I just did clip art. I drive a Subaru Ascent for the adults here. So I just went on Googled Subaru Ascend, took a picture of it, right? Printed it out. Okay. Now for you, like Tracy said, for your child, if it makes more sense to have a piece of the seatbelt that they're used to, maybe every time they go in the car, they sit with their teddy bear, and that's the thing that you use. You make it personal to you, right? So I'm just going to say for mine, for the purposes of our little story time today, I'm going to say it was a long car ride. Okay. Okay. That's it. It was a long car ride. And it goes, page 2. Okay. Well, when we got there, we had a birthday party for Monica. Oh my goodness. So this
Birthday.
one's a little more fun. So I have some of the curling ribbon from one of the gifts,
Ooh,
right? Kind of fun to play with.
look like hair.
Yeah, kind of reminds me, right? Some of I have some of the tissue paper from a gift, which makes a fun noise too. I can feel it. I can listen. I can look. Okay. I have a party hat. Okay, here we go. Right? So that was really fun. When we wore the hats, we thought it was pretty silly. So that was a good memory. So I want to include that. I also have more than one. So this was a reminder to me of choice. Choice is so important, right? So when we're making these books, if there's opportunity to give your student a choice about what to include, let's do that, right? So I'm liking the green today, so I'm going to put green in there. Now, putting the whole, well, let's problem solve this, right? So I have my sheet. How am I going to get this into something we can experience? So what do you think? I could actually just kind of flatten it and tuck it in there. I could do that, right? And sometimes what's good about these sheets is that you can pull it out and re-experience it, right? As you're reading the story, go, oh yeah, let's put on the hat again. That was fun, right? And relive that experience. I could cut this in half, right? So that's a little bit more kind of flat and attach it that way. That would be another thing you could do. Again, up to you and your learner. What's going to be most meaningful for your learner, okay? For our purposes today and the time that we have, I'm just going to probably tuck the items in, and I'm going to write, we had a birthday party. So I'm just going to do that real quick. Do you like birthday parties? What do you think, Sam?
Sam, do you like birthday parties?
Birthday party.
And do you like to sing happy birthday?
Happy birthday to you.
Oh, there you go.
Awesome.
Exactly. Maybe that's your favorite part of a birthday party. Maybe that's what you would want to write about.
Good job.
That's good. Okay, so I have my words. Okay, we had a birthday party. I'm just going to tuck these things in. I'm not going to be fancy about it at all. Here we go. And it's okay. And tuck them all in. Okay, then I can go back and we can pull them out to feel them, right? You could decide to use other materials. You could decide to use just some cardstock without the sheet, glue some things onto it so that your child can feel them right away each time as is, and they're affixed there. That's another option. Okay. All right. Oh, so at the party, we played some games. So I just had we like to play some card games. We like Uno, Go Fish, things like that, right? We also play some games that involve dice. So I just have one die here. So I was just going to put those in to show that we played games. But my family loves games. That's something we do all the time when we're together. So I'm going to put we played games. Do you have games you like to play, Sam? Is there a game that you like?
Vampire.
What one?
What is it called, hon?
Look it. It's chicken.
It's a sticker.
Oh,
We've been playing pirates. So we have
oh,
pirate
arr.
stickers because we went to see some ships.
Look it.
No way.
Sam, did you
Look
like?
it. Mom.
It's a sticker. Is it sticky? It's sticky. Do you want to put it on your all about me sheet?
Mhm.
Yes. Thank you.
Okay, now this might be a little trickier. I'm just working with my tape that came in my kit. I'm gonna try it, put my little die on there.
Okay.
I might need something stronger, an adhesive of sorts. Oh, it looks like it's gonna work though. We played games. Now, when I'm going back through with my youngster, I might talk all about what were the games that we played, right? We can have more conversation about that for each of these pages if you wanted to. Okay. Who was there? What did you play? Okay. All right. Okay. Another one of my favorite things to do that I did with my family on my summer vacation. We watched a movie. Rio. Okay, so I'm going to put, we watched a movie. Going to write that. We watched a movie. Okay. So I'll tuck that into my book and I'll hold it up for you in just a second. Thanks for your patience. Okay. So I've got it in here, and now I'm going to go ahead and just tuck this whole case right in here. I could remove the paper, right, just from the jacket of the DVD container, right? I know I'm dating myself. I still use DVDs. Oh my goodness. But if you had the image, right, like if you're a Netflix user instead, you can just have the image from a computer or something like that, right? Or maybe you have a favorite character, right? I'm not going to remember the name, but a character with feathers, maybe you've got a feather or two in your page that signifies that was your favorite character in the movie, right? Okay, moving on. When I watch a movie, I like to eat popcorn. So I've got that too. That's important to me. I just put it in a separate little baggie, just to avoid a little bit of mess. But that way, when I tuck it in my book, I can go ahead and pull it back out if I want to. Right? And feel it a little bit. Maybe smell it.
Like it.
Right? Let me do that. Smells
So
good.
Yeah.
Yeah. You like popcorn?
show Helene. Sam likes Spider-Man.
Ooh. Is that a movie that you like or a show? Do you like both? What do you like?
The cartoon.
Oh,
Did you watch
nice.
that this summer? The
Yeah.
cartoon, yeah.
Nice. I love the Spider-Man movies, all of them. Okay. So I'm going to put we ate popcorn and tuck that in there. Again, you could talk about, if you want to add more, you could talk about it was salty, it was crunchy, right? Building those concepts. Okay. You see that? We ate popcorn. Okay. Not fancy, just regular. Okay. On the way home, because it's such a long ride, 7 hours, remember? We made a stop at the Pez Visitor Center. I don't know if any of you have ever been there. It's in Connecticut. So I've got this kind of lanyard, which is like a ribbon that you put around your neck with like a badge. It says Pez Visitor Center with a date on it. And of course, we had to buy some Pez dispensers. This one's, oh, Pez came out. This one's Squirtle, I think, from Pokemon. So I'm going to write about that too, because that was really fun going to that Pez Center. I'm going to write that too. All right. We went to the Pez Visitor Center.
How's your mom?
Show it.
Do you have something Pokemon? Oh, you have Pikachu. All right. Nice connection. Love Pikachu. Okay. All right. So in it goes. I'm going to tuck this in, putting in my badge with lanyard. I'm putting in my Squirtle. This book is getting big, looking super interesting. Oops, I'm covering up. See, this is where I might tape it. If I weren't doing such a quick job, I might tape that up a little bit. Okay, but I've got my items in there. We went to the Pez Visitor Center. Okay. All right, we're coming to the end of the story because that was back on the way home. So now I just kind of want to wrap it up because a story should have a beginning, middle, and the end, right? So I just want to say something like, it was a fun trip. Okay. So I'm just going to write something like that. I might write the end. Okay. It was a fun trip. Exclamation point to show excitement. Okay. Okay, it was a fun trip. Now, right now, I don't have a picture for that. I do have some clip art. What do you think? Sam, do you have an idea? What can I draw? What should I put here on this last page for it to show either that it's finished or it was fun? What do you think? Any ideas?
What do you want to draw?
I don't know.
You don't know? That's okay.
Yeah.
Oh, you do know? What do you?
Oh, you do know. Go ahead.
Story.
draw the story.
Yeah.
Oh, the whole thing. Oh my goodness. Oh, you don't know me very well. I am not very good at drawing. But maybe I can show coming home, right? Like maybe, okay, here's my driveway. I'll show you in a second.
Sam-
Driveway.
Yeah.
Sam wants to show you the bracelet he made.
Oh, please. Yes.
Bracelet at
Let's
camp.
see.
Yeah.
Yeah, here. I'm gonna show it to Helene. Show.
Oh, I see green. Yes.
And you did the beads.
Wow.
Great job.
Did you make that at home or at a camp or where were you when you made that?
Did we go? We saw Prenda camp.
Ah,
Did we go
Nice.
to camp a little? Mom went with him.
nice. Okay, so I live in a log home in Vermont. My artwork, not great. That's okay. It's going to look like little lines instead of logs. That's all right. We're among friends, right? Okay. So I just have, oh, I need my black car because that was important. We were in that black car so long. Oh my goodness. So long. Okay. Long trip. Okay. It kind of looks like a spaceship. It was a fun trip. That's supposed to be my black car. Silly, right? Going by my evergreen trees. I live in Vermont, lots of trees. Long driveway to my log home.
Sam
And-
said nice.
Oh, thanks for the encouragement. What a good friend. Okay. And that was all about my vacation. So that was about a specific trip. But like I said, you can just do one day you went to the beach and you just have a couple things about that. Or maybe you didn't go anywhere at all. Maybe you had a staycation. That's great. You can write about reading a book at home, maybe taking a walk even in your backyard, playing with your dog, whatever the things are, taking a bath, whatever the things are that you do in your everyday routine, that is a-okay and fabulous to write about. Okay, so I've done a lot of talking. Do other folks have questions or comments? Now that I showed that.
Helene, I just wanted to mention, Kristen from Maine put a comment in here about
Great.
for kids that use ASL, an experience blog, which is basically like a video where the child is telling a story. So that's certainly an option. I think
Yes.
it's deciding like what your goal is. And if you really want to work on print and your child reading print, and also people reading together and having the adult use the same language as the child, that whole experience of an actual tactile book, that's sort of what our topic is about today. But certainly, you can have your child actually tell their own story too. And that could even be part that could be added into an actual tangible experience book. So there's just so many ways to do this, and the possibilities are endless.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you. And also sometimes, some of our kiddos might use a communication app. So maybe you're highlighting a keyword on there for each page that you read, right? Or maybe you're focusing on the word like. And so for each page that says, I like dogs, I like pizza, you're highlighting that word like on your communication app each time. You also can do create some books on apps. There are some really good apps out there for creating books. So again, it would have to, we do what makes sense for each individual kiddo. So if that's something that your student can access, perhaps they benefit from the audio part of that, because on some of the apps, when you type a sentence, it will read it back to you. And some of our students respond best to that. That's another option too. And you can also record sounds. So if you wanted a sound effect of the ocean, because that's where you went and that was really special, you could add something like that as well. Yeah. So, okay, other thoughts or ideas or questions?
These are always just really helpful about getting ideas on how to work on advancing or progressing our reading and reading together. So it's always great to get new ideas because we get bored fast. So thank you very much.
Oh yeah, no, that's great. Yeah,
Elizabeth, I was just going to add to that, thinking about going back to school, one of the sort of tricks of the trade is all teachers will have the beginning of the year. So tell us, like, let's talk about what you did over the summer. And kids usually have to either write a big paragraph or some sort of story. So I think it's just wonderful to think about having something that your child can kind of bring in back to school that really kind of resonates with them. And for a lot of kids, it brings them comfort because it's really something meaningful that they can bring back to school at the beginning of the school year. So yeah, again, the possibilities are endless.
I like how the book gives you the idea and then you can run with it on whatever you want. Sam likes a lot of tangible things, and it's helpful when he's reading to hold whatever it is that we're talking about. So making it about him is excellent. I really love the binder. Thank you very much for it. It's really helpful to have that starting point, because I think that's where we have a difficulty sometimes, is getting those starting points and then adding apps in, because Sam definitely loves video and loves to do reading and pronunciation or American Sign Language from the iPad, which we can incorporate into the book too, and printing things out from the printer. So that was great. Thank you. I'll be using that.
Oh, good. I'm glad. Excellent. Okay. Other things?
This is Brenda. I was just going to say, I think the fun part about experience books is once you start making them, then you want to make more of them, because you realize, kind of like Helene is showing you, anything you do can be made into an experience book. So anything that, your child's experiencing in the world, at home, at school, maybe, you know, a special event, you can make into a book. And then they have their own little library to tell stories about themselves. That could be really nice too.
Oh, yes. Thank you for bringing that up about the library, Brenda, because I think we may have mentioned that on the handout that we sent, but that is another kind of level. If you become comfortable making these and you find that they're helpful for your youngster, you can create a space in your home. And this doesn't have to be fancy. It can be a little, you know, bin from Walmart, right? Like a little plastic bin or what have you that has these books that you're making, and keep them in a location though, where your child can easily find them so that they can choose to go over perhaps and look at them whenever they feel like it. And that can help develop a habit of reading too, right? Or maybe they want to bring it over to you and initiate this conversation about, remember when we did this thing? So that can be really powerful as well. Yeah. You could, for students that benefit from an additional sort of tactile marker, you could mark this part of the binder of the spine with a certain color sticker or a tactile marker, so that they can find their favorites too, perhaps. For students that maybe they are starting to read or recognize letters, you can also add the text. Why not a title here? Yeah, and using the colors that are preferred and most accessible to your child. Yeah. Okay. Sarah, is this feeling accessible to you? Something that you feel like you can do, or is there anything we can do to help?
No, I'm just so glad that you all had this workshop, because some years ago I did my own little experiment with a couple of experience books, and I think I printed photos and text and laminated them, and then used little little rings, but
Sure.
she loved them so much that the books kind of got destroyed and taken apart, and they like ripped through the little punch holes. So I think that's a good proof that I should make more of them. And I did not, because it was just printed and laminated, I didn't have any way to put objects or tactile items in the book. So I definitely want to experiment with that.
Yeah. For students that, and by the way, we love when the books are destroyed because kids love them. That means we did a good job, right? Like if they enjoy them enough, right, to actually destroy them a little bit, fabulous. That means they're well loved. I'd rather that than they sit on a shelf and nobody utilizes them, right? But for some students that perhaps may be totally blind, right, or just really respond best to the actual object, right? You can make an experience book using kind of pegboard. Do you know what I'm talking about with that? The kind of thing like you might hang tools on with the holes in it, right? So you can have pieces of that. I've seen that done too. And then you take the actual object and use, you know, some type of, I'm forgetting the word for it, pipe cleaner, like something like that, or a twist tie from like your bread, right? the bag of bread, and it has twist, something like that. It can be used to affix the objects to that. So I've seen that done too for some students that really, really benefit from the actual object. Of course, you've got a really big, thick book then, but so do I right now. So that's okay. Yeah. Okay.
Having those tangible things for Sam is really, it's key for him trying to explain something that he likes, because we don't use a lot of full sentences, and we incorporate ASL and gesture in the whole mix. And sometimes Sam uses the video. So having that tangible thing to show someone, ocean, they can see the seashell. Oh, Sam is saying that he went to the ocean. That's really helpful.
I like that. Nice. Yeah. And as we said, that can be a great conversation starter, right? Like who doesn't want to talk about the ocean? So then you can talk about a time that you went, or things that you saw, things in
Yeah, so
common.
Yeah, our binders will be thick with things, and that's great. I love that. The pockets are a great idea, like the page protectors. I didn't think of that. I'll be putting that in all of our binders. We have some other experience stories that Tracy sent us that were for the reading program. And those have been really helpful in incorporating reading for Sam. Like, he wasn't really interested in regular paper books.
Right.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. One thing you could consider too is, or one thing to think about, if your learner perhaps has cortical visual impairment, do think about the shininess, because when you talk about laminating, we think about that too when we're making school materials for students. That is something to consider. But with this, what I like is you can go ahead and pull it out, right? So they can see the whole thing, but be thinking about that. If you are going to put sort of flat things in and it's shiny and maybe that's not as accessible to your learner, then maybe you do want to go ahead and just put it on cardstock and put the cardstock right into the binder holes. So just something to consider.
Yeah, definitely. I didn't think of that either. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see, do we have other? Oh, thank you, Damari. I see you put in the chat about Pictello. Yeah, that's a great app for creating books. Love that. I think My Story Creator is another one that I've used. There are a few others out there, and some of them are free. So not difficult to access. Okay. All right.
Any other thoughts or questions? You guys have been great this afternoon.
Was anybody
Also-
able to use?
Go ahead, Helene.
Sorry, was anyone able to use your CVS card, or do you have plans to use this to develop some pictures? Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
I will definitely be developing some pictures for the book. Thank you very much for that.
Great. Yeah, that was Damari's idea. Thank you, Damari.
Not everybody got CVS too. They indicated which ones they liked.
Oh.
I had an extra CVS one for you.
Whoops. So whichever card you got, even better, you personalized it.
So
Thank you,
Helene,
Christine.
now you can make an experience story about making your experience story.
Oh my goodness. Right? So I think it's fabulous. So thank you so much. I've had so much fun. I really appreciate you joining us today.
I just wanted to add to Sarah, if you have any other questions, Karen Olson in Connecticut can help you, as well as Mary Johns, and give you ideas. Like, I literally, in our office here, we have boxes of experience stories, all different kinds along the way, and depending on the needs and the interests of children that we work with. And some families have donated to me that they've created over the years, and we've been able to reuse them. So don't hesitate. Both Elizabeth and Sarah, and those of you who watch this in terms of recording, to contact us if you want more ideas about experience stories and how to kind of take this idea and run with it. We'd love for you to connect. Anything else that you want to do in terms of a send off here, Helene?
I don't think so, except just to say again, thank you so much. And I really appreciate your active engagement and interest in this topic. I'm so excited that your learners are going to be using these. And I hope everybody has a great year. And the rest of your summer, we still have summer. Let's enjoy the rest of summer first, please.
Yes. Thank
Yeah.
you, Sam.
Yeah.
Thank you. Take care.
Hey, everybody.
See you next
Bye.
time.
Thank
Okay.
you, Helene.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.
Aw. Okay.
Thank you to our interpreters and stuff.
Yes. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it.